are the Walking Dead.
What's up? It's the Airy Lord. This is another Walking Dead review. This is episode 13, which is Them. My other co-host Jack is unfortunately not here this week. We're on break, and currently not in the same location. But next week we will be back. So tune in next week for another co-op review. But for now, we're just gonna do my take on it, and then next week we can discuss the events of this week's episode and talk about them next week. But so this is episode 13, Them, if I am correct in saying that. Interesting episode. We got to see the dynamics of a couple of different characters. Off the top of my head, I can think of Sasha going a bit batshit insane. I think Alexandria still being kind of a place of disbelief for her, in the fact that she still, obviously there was the scene at the party where she was having major flashbacks to the people from Terminus and when they were eating in the church and Bob, obviously, and she's still obviously kind of upset from the loss of Bob and also her brother Tyrese. And it was interesting how Deanna was basically, obviously, defending her community and said, oh, that's bullshit, our community is real, you don't know what you're talking about, kind of thing, and you've been out there too long. And I think she'd say that to any member of the group. I don't think there was anything special about Sasha in that circumstance. I think she was just going to say that about any of them, to be quite honest. In terms of other characters, what we did see Rick make a move, which was kind of interesting. It's funny because last episode Rick was so gun-ho. I mean, obviously that was the first time they entered the community. That was their first introduction, so this is their second time around. It was interesting because he had the stamp on his hand, which, by the way, I don't know if that's an allusion to the A that was on Terminus when they were herded into the train car. I'm assuming that was what that was an allusion to, which, clever allusion right there. I like that. In terms of Rick getting for him, I think it's trying to get more assimilated. Like he said, he's doing this all for Carl and Judith, so I think him trying to be more accepted in this community is that attempt. But at the same time, obviously, we now see the secret meeting of Daryl, Carol, and Rick, which is interesting. I'm surprised they didn't have Michonne or Abraham. They didn't really have any of the major members kind of collecting themselves together and trying to come up with a plan, so it's just a three. I guess maybe, or even Glenn. I mean, Glenn's been there since the beginning. I'm surprised they didn't have Glenn. But, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe they just want to keep it low-key for now. They think 3 is a safe number. They obviously, at the end of the episode, they scavenged some guns. Even Daryl, it was kind of interesting that Daryl was the one who brought up the fact that they might not even need them, that, maybe he's starting to lean more into the category of trusting the community. His time with Aaron might have open that possibility up. It'll be interesting to see if he takes the job. It seems like he's going to, the job of being the new kind of recruiter for Alexandria to replace Eric temporarily, I'm assuming. And we'll see. We're obviously that's kind of funny because we know that he had a bike. I think it was Merle's bike back during the prison, and it'll be interesting to see him riding it again. I'm not sure if he's going to run into trouble. I know the season finale description, it said that he runs into trouble or something. And I don't know if, obviously that's a spoiler, but I'm not sure if anyone's read the descriptions for the next couple of episodes of season 5, but that is mentioned, so it's probably going to be tied into this job that he has now, so we'll see how that goes. I'm glad that they're giving Daryl some time and stuff. I mean, he's starting to talk more, open up, which I like, because obviously he's been a bit closed, shut down ever since, a couple of close friends of his, people, have died and kind of put him into a withdrawal. Let's see, what else am I thinking? Oh, one scene I do have to mention, Carol's scene in the room with the guns when she's talking to the little kid. I don't know if that was the best option, and I'm going to say that straight out, because, it's a kid. I mean, how can you trust a kid? in this circumstance. You know, it's a kid, he could easily blab to his mom. He said that he tells his mom everything. So what are the chances that he's going to keep quiet? I mean, obviously Carol had this elaborate threat. I mean, it was great, you know, it was really well done. I just don't know. If I was her, I would have just played it off as being, oh, I was going to get more chocolate for the cookies, or just something casual. Like, I wouldn't have... I would have played it off as being something casual, and I would have tried to make him not tell in a different way. I mean, maybe because of how long she's been out there, she feels like a threat is the best means of doing that. But it just seemed really, really strong. Really, really strong. And I don't know if that will lead into any consequences that she might have in the future. There's always that possibility. So, you know, who knows? What were some other plot points? Michonne hanging up the sword, that was pretty funny. I don't know if it's like an antique now. She'll probably need it. I mean, come on. I mean, that's her signature weapon when there's the whole Negan conflict. Hopefully we're going to be getting into that maybe next season, but hopefully she'll need her katana when shit hits the fan again. Trying to think what else. There was obviously the horse scene, which was a flashback to the first episode of Season 1, the very first episode of The Walking Dead. The horse got killed. That was kind of sad that Aaron had to put it out of its misery. That was kind of horrible. It's funny, people feel worse for animals when they die, but when a human dies, unless it's like a main character, people just are like, oh, okay, it's kind of funny. But, so, I always find that interesting, how people kind of have that, oh, if it's an animal, oh my god, I don't like to see animal torture, and all that stuff. So, I'm trying to think of what else. Were there any other notable kind of scenes that happened? Again, another episode where we didn't see Father Gabriel. However, the previews for next week's episodes, there were a whole bunch of Father Gabriel clips where he's giving a lecture or something. So it looks like we're finally going to see some stuff with him. Because there have been no shots with Father Gabriel. There was one shot with him when he was inside the safe zone handing over his weapons, and that's it. Like, we haven't seen him in, 2 episodes, so, you know, I don't know what his role is going to be. He's not a fighter, so I guess he's just going to be a dinky little priest for their community, it looks like, so I guess that's that. I'm trying to think of what else there is. There was the letters. I don't know, we also saw another reference to the letters on the foreheads of the zombies, the W. Still don't know what that means. I don't know if that has to do with the wolves, or if that's related to... I don't know if that's related to, the scavengers, or Negan's group, or something else entirely. I'm not sure, because obviously we had that teaser in the first episode, episode 9, when Tyrese, spoiler, but when Tyrese dies. We had that. When Rick drives into the truck, all the zombies come out with the W's. Which makes me believe it's going to be some rival group, because they were the ones that probably killed Noah's community and probably, went forward and, ravaged, kind of, did their own thing. I'm not sure. I don't know who these people are or what they are. I don't know if they're a twist. They're either a twist on the Scavengers or they're Negan's group. And it obviously, people have said it's kind of early to introduce Negan. I think more people are leaning towards that it'll occur in Season 6. I'm on the fence. Obviously, The Walking Dead being unpredictable, I'm not sure when they'll introduce him. Obviously, that's something I'm really looking forward to, since he's such an iconic villain from the comics, and I'm kind of interested. Now that we're at Alexandria, I'm kind of anticipating. It's like the countdown to Negan, pretty much, now that we're at Alexandria. And notable things are happening, like the party scene, Rick becoming a cop. These are all notable things that have happened from the comics that we're now seeing in the show for the first time. Just as a side note related to that, Deanna's husband actually looked almost exactly like Douglas Monroe from the comics, who's the leader, who kind of takes over Deanna's place. And so it was interesting. I like that kind of parallel. They always have those parallels in the show. That's kind of cool to see. Abraham seems to be enjoying himself. Not much from him, just kind of there. Same thing with Rosita. She's kind of there, just, as a character. I'm sure other episodes will dedicate themselves to going into her character development. The thing for me is, they have so many different characters that obviously they're kind of juggling around who they want to focus on and who they don't want to focus on. But I think they're doing a way better job than they did last season at this time, where everyone was split up and you had an episode for a fucking character, and it kind of frustrated me that was the case. Wasn't a big fan of that, but I like the way they're doing it now that everyone's in a community and it's kind of the back and forth between the citizens and these new people that are the dynamics. So, pretty decent episode. You had some action with Daryl and Aaron kind of running out and killing the zombies near the horse. Obviously, there's more growing tensions. It looks like the love interest is confirmed for Rick, which is pretty funny. I knew that it was going to happen. I don't know if Rick's going to get in a fight with the husband, because I don't know if that happens in the comics. It might, but we'll have to see. But yeah, interesting episode. I think if I was to give it a score, I think I'd give it an 8.5. Decent episode. Some plot stuff. Now, the ending of the episode, now someone can comment this and, tell me if they think this is true or not, but Rick listening to the zombie on the other side of the fence, is that foreshadowing that there's going to be a herd that crashes into the gates that causes a problem? That seems to be what they're dealing with in the next episode, but who knows, We'll have to see if that's really the case, if they're maybe leading us down a different path. How do the symbols on the zombies' heads in the group, how does that all play in? Questions we'll have to have answered, but I think 8.5 is a fair score. I'll talk about it briefly with Jack next week, then we'll jump into episode 14's review for next week. And, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I keep feeling like there's a scene I'm leaving out or something. I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. I think everything with Alexandria seems pretty legit. It's just, I'm more interested in hearing the main characters, how they respond to this safe zone and how they progress in that. That's what's interesting to me. It's kind of interesting to see that and how everyone reacts to it. And I think more of that is going to be interesting. And obviously, I'm still waiting for the introduction of Morgan. It's bound to happen at some point before season 5 is done, just not sure when. I'm going to bet on the season finale, or maybe the episode before. I'm going to put money on that. I guess I'll officially make that bet, but we'll see. We'll see. Always up for interpretation, but that's my prediction, obviously. So, thank you as always for watching, and leave a comment, leave a like, leave all that great stuff, and I will see you next Sunday for episode 14. We've only got a few episodes left of season 5, so that means there's only a few more vlog reviews for these episodes on Sundays, so we're winding down to the end here. It's kind of hard to believe, but yep, it'll be there before you know it. So, thank you guys. Peace out.